Are you in control of your business? Well, if not, you need to be. You got to remember, it's your business. It's not your customer's business. You can like them, appreciate them, do as much as you can for them. But you got to understand that whether it succeeds or fails, it's going to be on you. An analogy I use when I'm talking to my kids, or an example, is about being in control of a situation. And this applies to business too. It's just being in control of your business. It's like, imagine this. Think about this, man. You're at a stop sign. You just stop. Maybe it's a four-way, or no, it's a two-way stop, but traffic is going back and forth, back and forth. And you're waiting to pull out in that traffic. Man, it's a lot of traffic, but you got cars behind you. Now people start beeping at you, putting the pressure on you. Now, all of a sudden you just, all right, you see a little bit of opening, you just panic and just hit the gas, and then boom, the biggest crash in history. Those people that were behind you beeping at you, what do they do after that? Man, they go home and eat dinner with their family, and they talk about, man, you wouldn't believe this accident I saw today. They put the pressure on you, and now they at home eating dinner with their family, not thinking, and your whole life is ruined, right? It's a similar situation when you're in business. If you don't get control of your business, you let other people control it, and then next thing you know, a year or two later, you're out of business. They're looking at you like, man, I guess he didn't know what he was doing. And the whole time, you didn't know what you were doing because you spent all your time letting other people control it. So here's 6 things that you must control in your business. The first thing I think you need to get control of is how you do your estimates. You think about it. It always starts like this. You answer the phone, and then the first thing people say is, I wanted to see if somebody could come out, and right then is your opportunity to shape this whole conversation and the way your policies are and how you go. Maybe you just go out to every job. And you know what? Sometimes early on, because in the beginning, it was like I could close the job. It was like I had like a 90% close rate. If I could go to in person, I got the job way more often at this point. But eventually, you're gonna get to a point where you can't keep up with the amount of phone calls coming in, and it just doesn't make sense, monetarily, to just go out to every job just because somebody just picked up the phone and calls you, and they are a human being. You understand what I'm saying? First thing I do when somebody starts that way is I just say, let me get some more information to see if it's something that I can help you with. All right, because half the time they don't even know if what they're looking for if you actually do. They just want you to come out just because that's what they're used to telling people to do. So yeah, get more information about what they're looking for. And then if it's whatever your policy is, like I said, if you don't want to go to the house because maybe you don't need to, then don't go. I don't care if they insist. I don't care, whatever. Have them send you a picture. And I have some people that's like, oh, well, I don't know how to send a picture. Okay, well, if that's the case, if you can't send a picture, then I might, who knows? If I'm in the area, I might be able to, stop by, but it might be weeks from now. Who knows? And that's fine. That's fine. If they decide to go a different route, that's totally fine. But whatever it is, you need to establish control. So I get them to understand that I come out. If I feel that I need to go out to the job, then I'll go. And then you also have to decide, do you want to charge for that? I don't charge for every estimate, but there are certain ones I charge for. What's crazy, sometimes you go out to some people's house, man, they want you to give them 15 estimates on everything that they could possibly need done in the house. I'll write it all down. I'll take measurements and everything, but I'll send you one. But I'm not just taking my time to spend doing 15 estimates just because that's what you want. So I'll tell them, okay, I get all the information, and we'll just start with whatever is the most priority for you on the list. We'll start with that one. But I'm just not sitting down doing 20 estimates for you. You know what I mean? Unless you're paying. And on certain jobs, you just gotta charge. My policy is always, if I have to do work, if I gotta pop a piece of trim off, I'm working. If I gotta take tools in your house, I'm working. There has to be some sort of payment for that. Then also, like I said, if as expensive as it gets, if it gets, some of these estimates are large, you want me to do half a basement, like all the installs with cabinets, and then a bathroom over here, and then this other thing over here. I'm not doing that for free. It's ridiculous. Some of these things take hours and hours, and I'm getting materials. No. So But those are things you're gonna have to let the customer know. And you gotta, let them know early on. Soon as they give you that opening and ask you when you can get somebody to come out, jump on it then and take control of your business. Another situation where you need to take control is whether or not you collect deposits. Okay? Now, I have a certain way I feel about collecting deposits. I collect deposits all day, every day. And I'm pretty good at collecting the money. You know what I mean? Like I told you, back in the day, I used to have a paper route, and they used to send me to collect the money, going door to door. And, I was a beast. Matter of fact, let me show you a little flashback on how I used to get down.
Johnny.
4 weeks. 20 papers, that's $2 plus tip.
Gee, Johnny, I don't have a dime. Sorry.
Didn't ask for a dime. $2.
I know I look a little different now than I did back then, but I was a savage, man. I was a beast. But anyway, if you do collect deposits, then you just need to do that. And you need to be okay with that's just what it is. There are customers who are not going to want to pay a deposit. Some of them are going to be, maybe they have the history and somebody took their money in the past. I mean, I hate to say, unfortunately, for me, it's kind of like that situation where the last guy treated you wrong, and now you want to take it out on me, and I got to jump through hoops because of what he did. But he gone. You know what I mean? Like, well, I can't help that. Like, if I hate the fact that contractors took your money, but go after them in court and do what you got to do. But that don't take that out on me. Tell me you don't want to pay me a deposit because of what he did. That just doesn't work. All right, that's not a sustainable situation for me. I'm absolutely solidified on taking deposits. I do have a dollar amount threshold, but it's just if that's what you do, then just make sure you do it. Don't let anybody talk you out of it or give you a sob story and have you getting in your feelings, and because this doesn't have anything to do with feelings. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just saying that whatever you do, you make sure that you just enforce the policy. If that's your policy to take a deposit, then you enforce that. Don't back down on it for whatever reason. And I'm talking about I have a policy on specific time frames. I won't even schedule a job until the deposit is made. I don't lock in a date. I'm not going to give you a date 2 weeks later and tell you I can do it on that day, and then you just pay me the deposit the day before. No. I'm not scheduling. I'm not doing anything until I get the deposit, and then you're going to have the greatest customer service experience you ever had in your life. But until then, I can't guarantee anything because that's my policy. You know what I mean? And I'm in control because it's my business, right? Be in control. Next thing you need to get control of in your business is your scheduling. You stick with your scheduling. All right. So what I mean by this is one of the reasons why you started this whole thing was because you wanted control over your schedule, right? I know that was for me. Well, it was a big reason. If I needed to take a day off, if I wanted to get off early, if I wanted to start late. I schedule my jobs for the time this works best for me, and that's just what it is, right? So yeah, I'm not saying you can never bend, never fold, or never help a customer in certain situations. But you just can't make it a rule that every time somebody calls you, you just do whatever they say. Or if you give them, I just had somebody last week where it didn't matter what time I gave them, they could never do it. It was always like, they'll give me a list of times, and it was, no, I'll give you times and then we'll work it out. But if not, then we just don't. If you don't work in the evenings. Some people have children, they got families, they got, you want to go to the basketball games and the football games or be at the practice, or maybe you want to coach the team or whatever. If you don't work weekends, it's fine. It's fine. Guess what? You get to make that call. I have hours, right? You're a business, you have hours. Now, these things vary from when you first start. Because when you first started, of course, you're going to have to just work as much as you possibly can to build this thing up. There ain't no days off. There ain't no such thing in the beginning. I'm 5 years in. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of customers. My phone rings every day. I don't have to work when I don't want to. I don't have a slow season unless I decide to take off. I don't have a slow season. So I'm not in that position anymore, but it was because of all the hours that I put in. To get me to this point, right? So My hours are the hours. So, you know, when I have something, you'll have certain people who feel entitled almost, certain customers who feel like I've had somebody send me a text at 11 p.m. on a Saturday night. And then I don't call them back till Monday, and they have an attitude. They have an attitude about, oh, well, yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, well, I texted you like 2 days ago. I'm sorry. It said closed. You know what I mean? I'm closed on the weekends. You know, unless I decide to be open for whatever reason, I'm closed. I might even listen to your message. No emergency. You just feel like that you could just contact me then because I don't know, it's an industry thing. Like, I guess that's what some people do. I know a lot of guys give their personal phone numbers and that's how they sell to the customer, you know, all these things. That I don't do none of that. You know, I make sure there is a separation. I had a customer not that long ago who, you know, we had a project, you know, it was like a project that was going to take four or 5 days to do, right? And he was like, well, you know, they go to the gym in the morning and they like to eat breakfast or whatever. So, you know, can we start at like 1 in the afternoon? 1 in the afternoon? I could see if I'm just coming to install something or something like that. But dude, I'm painting, I'm redoing your bathroom or whatever. I'm starting at 1 and then what? Not then working to what, 8, 9, like every day? No. What are we talking about here? I was like, yo, this is crazy. So you control your time. Don't let anybody else control it for you. What's going on, everybody? This is your boy, Brostradamus, aka Homie One Kenobi. I know what you're gonna do in the future. You're gonna like, comment, subscribe, so we can grow this Handyman 2.0. Okay? Also, you look for a CRM, I'm on Team Marcade all day. All right, so I see in your future, I already see you signing up. All right, because the link is in the description. So make sure you do that. Next thing you can do to control your business, don't do work that you're not getting paid for. I know I can't be the first person to say this. Don't do favors. Like, favors will get you stuck. Favors will put you in a position, and it's not, like I said, it's not about being malicious or anything. A lot of times customers thinking that some jobs are more simple than they actually are. Or you know, sometimes you do something that just turns out to be a total mess, and now you have a disaster on your hands because you're just trying to help somebody out. What I always do, if somebody wants to add something on, then if it's a small thing, then I just add an addendum line, and then we'll go ahead and you know, stop, get the thing added on, work the detail out, how much is it gonna cost, add it to the invoice, all right? But then I've had other jobs where people wanna add multiple items, just like we're getting where the addendum is bigger than the original invoice. And it's like, well, I have to separate it. I gotta separate it. And I just started telling people where, you know, we have a thing where we have separate invoices where because we want to close one out. Because what would happen, I would have times where I'd be working on a job and people add the stuff on, and I'd be working on the addendum, the new stuff, and this stuff is taking longer than maybe I expected or whatever. I had issues with it because now I'm not getting paid for the old work that I've done that I'm already finished with because we've added on new work to the invoice, and now I'm not gonna get paid till it's all done. And I don't like that. I wanna just complete this invoice and then add another one. Look, I've got caught up on more than one occasion in the past. It's been a while, but trying to be nice and doing extra work. I had a lady ask me to put up a picture one time, you know, and I had done all this work in her house or whatever. I'm thinking, okay, I'll be nice and put the picture up. Then I'm like, all right, where is it? I'm about to walk out. And I'm like, okay, so where's this picture? And she's like, okay, here it is. And she proceeded to go into the details of this, how she wanted the picture hung. Well, it's at the end of the hallway. I want it centered with between this other picture. I want it centered in the middle of the wall or centered on that picture. But then vertically, I need it centered with the light in the hallway. And of course, the light's like way back here. So, I mean, I gotta break out a laser and I gotta do all this stuff. It's like, all because I'm trying to be nice and just put a picture up. And people they don't care about none of that, man. They don't care about how nice you are. They just want what they want. And that was it. So don't do it, all right? Just do what you're there for and then, you know, make sure that whatever else you're there for, you're getting paid for it, and you're in control of that, not anybody else, or just don't do it. Next thing you need to do to get control of your business is only do the work that you do. I fell into this trap when I was desperate that, you know, somebody called and I'm like, yeah, I'll do it, you know, and it ends up being something that's way off base for me, something I'm not good at, I'm slow at, and the end result is gonna be lackluster, and people will complain anyway. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying people are gonna complain regardless. They know, they might know. You tell them straight up. Sometimes I've had people that'll beg me to do a job. I got finished doing something else, and it's something that I do, and I'm good at it, and it looks great. And then they're like, you know, can you do X, Y, Z? I've seen people do it. They'll ask them to patch up some drywall or something like that, and then you might express to them, well, that's not really what I do. I can try it, but I'm just saying, don't do it, okay? Because they're gonna judge you on it. It doesn't matter. It's kind of like giving estimates. I don't give ballpark estimates because it doesn't matter if it's a ballpark. People hold you to it. I don't care how many times they say, I get it, it's just an estimate, and it's just, you know, just off the top, you know. And I really, at this point, just gotta tell people, like, I don't do that. I just don't do that because people are gonna hold you to it. Well, it's the same thing. People will hold you to a poor job, even though you tell them up front that you're not really good at it. And plus, you gotta think of the liabilities. You gotta think of the liabilities of some of these things. If plumbing is not your thing, even light plumbing, don't do it. I mean, why would you risk having something leak and you didn't even feel comfortable doing it in the first place? Why would you risk that? Why would you take a job that has to do with electrical work on and you don't know? You're like, man, I opened this junction box and there's 10 wires in here. I have no idea. You know, I took the plug out and for some reason they got like three wires plugged into the plug and they got a ball of wires in the back and I don't, you know what I mean? Like, you're looking at it like you have no idea what you do. Don't do it then. Stick to what you know. Don't switch up just trying to, you know, please the customer to make them happy because they're gonna fry you if it comes out looking like trash. All right? So, it's your business, man. Number 6. I haven't been numbering, have I? This is the last one. I did say there were 6 of them, but this is the last one. You decide your price. Nobody else does that. You decide it, okay? It doesn't matter if customers, look, they don't have, not at times it's not ill will, they just don't know. You know what I'm saying? They just don't know. So how they come up with a price is, I hate to say it, but it's irrelevant. It's totally irrelevant on what they think the price should be. Is what you say it is. And if it's not that, then I would suggest you just don't do it, even in the early stages. I'd rather people charge less than charge something and then drop the price because somebody said that they don't want to, you know, just never mind that. I'd rather just charge less from the start, if that's the case. But don't never negotiate from a position of weakness. And as soon as you start dropping the price because somebody is just gonna take their business elsewhere, this ain't car shopping, man. It's not what it is. It's like, you know what you're worth. If this is what you're worth, then that's what it is. And I get it. I get it all the time. I get people who, I got it early on. I remember the first guy that did, the first time I got frustrated, somebody wanted me to come in and put a Lazy Susan in. Just take out a Lazy Susan in, put another one in, you know, just a few screws, whatever. But at that time, I had to learn. That's how I had to learn about negotiating and whether I should or not. The lady called me about the Lazy Susan, and I'm like, okay. At the time, I'm thinking, all right, $75. But it was really early. I'm talking about I was a couple months in. And she was like, that's a little too high. Can you know, this and that? And I'm thinking, okay. I dropped it down to $50 to go put this Lazy Susan in. And she was like, I mean, could you do any more work? You know, could you work with me anymore? And I was like, I can't, ma'am, if I go lower than that, it's just not going to be worth it for me to come out. And she was like, oh, okay, well, I'll go with that. She didn't care about the price. I go to the house. These people have all kinds of money. They just didn't want to pay anything for it, you know, and I let them do that, you know, and I still, it'll stick with you, man. The ones that you do that with, the ones that get you, it'll stick with you, man. I had a customer, I had tons of these stories, man. I'm just telling you. Had people that, I mean, cried poor. They wanted me to put tile underneath, you know, where their bar area was in their kitchen. So, you know, so where people are sitting on the bar stools, they put their feet, hit the wall, that they'll be hitting the tile. I mean, it's like 3 walls. It's, you know, outside corners, which is harder with tile. You know, I had to wrap this other corner. All this work. I gave them the price, and then they tried to tell me that they were retired and they were on a fixed income. And it was like, you're on a fixed income. Why are you getting tile under your countertop then? Why is that my problem? Right? Don't negotiate your price, because that's what it is. A lot of times people who just want a cheaper price. They don't even know why. They don't know why you're charging as much as you are. They don't care. They just want you to drop the price because they just, and there's something in their gut tells them that you should just drop the price. Well, I'm telling you, don't do it. I'm just telling you, when you start negotiating your price and you drop your price like that, it makes you look a certain way, and they start to take you a certain way. And the people that I did the $50 job for, I did work for them after that, and they treated me like the $50 guy. Where I put up a storm door and they like, oh yeah, I need you to, can you take that storm door with you? And I'm like, well, I didn't have that in the price. Well, I mean, you know, and they're just like demanding I take the door, I take the trash, I just take everything, and I do this and do, and they started to make all these demands. Like, they just treated me like I was the low price guy, like they could just do whatever. And if they lost, and who cares if you know, I walked out. So you don't want that same experience. So you set your prices. They're your prices for a reason. Make sure that you are in control. You created this thing, so you created this whole business. You're doing all this work so you can benefit in the future, so you can grow. And the only way, something like this, you have to make a lot of money. So, to retire and all the things. You want to be able to make a lot of money so you can set yourself up for the future, so you can have money to invest. There's all these other things. It's not only about just being able to barely make it by and pay your bills, because you can do that and work at the plant. You know, you can get a job at the Amazon warehouse and do that. So, but you don't want to do that. But if you're going to have a business, then you need to take charge. You need to be in control of that. When I deal with a customer, we're equals, we're peers. You're not my boss, you know, or nothing like that. I'm not over you. We're working together. Okay, this is a partnership that we're going into. I have something you want, you have something that I want, and we're going to work together to accomplish this goal. And 9 times out of 10, for me, it always works out beautifully. And everybody's happy when it's over. And, you know, because of it, I run my business on mostly referrals at this point. So it can be done. So Daryl, also known as the Finisher, y'all stay safe, be blessed, and remember that if the trades don't work, nothing else does.